Hey, what is up, everyone? How are you guys doing? Look at Eric. He's already drawing.
We have an hour, man. I got to make something of myself.
Right. It may spill slightly over an hour, but we'll try to keep it close to that.
Sure. I'm on board. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here with and for you, Rich.
So now here's the question I have to ask you, Mr. Artist Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, right now, do you have an idea of what you're going to draw, or are
No.
you just start putting down shapes?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think
Well,
we're I think we're okay with that, right?
of course. Yeah. No, I was just curious because
Yeah.
you're a good drawer.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So it's like it's interesting for me. Hey, what's up, Jordan? Replicant, James, Mark. Uh, we'll get a lot of people in here, I'm sure, soon. But yeah, it's really interesting to me because you're someone who's incredibly prolific with your work. You really do draw a lot and you draw very, very well. So it's neat to ask someone like you, like the nerdy fanboy questions.
Oh, please don't. We'll talk about Moebius, and then by accident, we'll end up asking me questions.
Sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi,
Thanks for having me on, Rich.
no, dude, no problem. I appreciate it. This is neat because one of my dreams was to kind of have an artist on twice. Like, well, and I'd like to have you on obviously more. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the idea was to bring someone on like you and have you kind of look at your art and let me ask you questions about your work, but then bring you on again where we just actually enjoy someone's art that I
Yeah.
do like and that we can just sort of be nerdy about.
Oh, I'm such a huge Moebius fan.
Right.
You
Now,
know,
go
I
ahead.
think I think I owe his estate so much money because as much as I've stolen from the guy, you know.
Right. Now, are you thinking 40 days in the desert when you draw this piece or
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
it's like is it Arzak, right? And that's what,
Yeah,
it's that
yeah.
the in my youth I thought it was for the longest time I thought it was Azrak
So,
until somebody corrected me.
well, here's the funny thing. James Smith, who's actually in the comment section,
Oh, what,
uh,
James?
James said to me that
Yeah.
if you really look and you see a lot of the published books with Arzak, some are actually spelled Azrak.
Is that
So
true?
that James, is that accurate, or were you lying to me? No, I know James wouldn't lie to me, but James, what is it? Sometimes it's Arzak and sometimes it's Azrak. I believe James. James knows what's up.
Hey, if you tell me and enable my dyslexia.
Well, that was the funny thing. So I called it Azrak for a long time too, and then
Right.
I was very embarrassed because I did a Moebius video. James says yes, it's accurate. So
I
okay,
want to see it. James, can you pull up Google Images so I don't feel bad
we need
about
links.
telling somebody this story and they're like, no, somebody was BSing you. Not that I
Oh,
don't believe you, but I want proof for myself to be able to throw it back in their faces.
the worst was the first time that I did a Moebius video on my YouTube channel. Dude,
Yeah.
we must have watched the freaking I can't remember. Oh, it was the Alien, the making of the Alien
Oh,
movie.
sure, sure.
And they talk about Moebius in one of the documentaries like a million times. Jean Giraud, Jean Giraud. I mean, it was like we would say it at Wildstorm all the time, Carl Stianda and myself. And so I get on the video and I call him John or Jean Gerard. I was just like, no.
That's
Oh my
okay,
God.
dude. There's
Oh,
nothing wrong with that.
it was so embarrassing.
Was
But
it?
yeah,
Oh, you're fine.
yes. In fact, it was. What's up, Chauncey? How are you? So I the reason that I picked this for you is because you had made posters of
Yes.
bit of the book and brought it down to
That's
Wildstorm.
That's right. Years ago, back when I was much younger and I didn't know any better. Years ago, when we worked at Wildstorm together, I was a couple desks over from you, and I had taken all of these images from 40 Days in a Desert, compiled them all into one giant file or one giant canvas, and then had them printed out. You know, I don't know what the measurements are, Rich. It's something
I have one
like
here.
2.5, 3 feet long. There you go. That was
Yeah,
up on the wall.
I have two of them I brought home from Wildstorm when
Oh, there
Wild.
you go. So that was it. I had it printed out and then laminated, and now it sat in front of me, in front of my desk at Wildstorm for however long that was. So there you go, man. That was like I said, I stole so. I mean that poster helped to inform a good portion of Cybernary back when I was working on it.
I have two of them here. It's so funny, but yeah, I when I was leaving, I was like, dude, all of this stuff is gonna get thrown away. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
I asked Claudia, I said, you know, can I take this or that or whatever? I knew that those were yours, and you had been gone for a while at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that it found a good home, Rich.
It did. I've had both of them. I rotate them out, but I've had both hanging in my office or my home studio before. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's cool. It's neat that you made it. You did
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like I don't know. I mean, obviously you knew what it was. You know, you knew Moebius, but I don't know if in Wildstorm they were sort of like as religious about it as I was, because
right,
I absolutely loved it. You know, there wasn't much, especially in the kind of products that we were making at Wildstorm. Not to say there
right.
wasn't much market for it, but certainly it wasn't like there was no appropriate time to be like, okay, this month I'm going to do my Moebius. You know.
What year did you come to Wildstorm and work down there?
Oh, that's a great question. It all just when you were working on Wildcats with Dustin, whenever that was.
Okay, so that would have been around 2004 ish, I think, because I did Steampunk right after Wildcats with Travis,
Oh, there you go.
and I think it was after that. So 2002, 2003. So yeah, the only people that I knew at Wildstorm, and this is, I'm sure that there were many others that did. Carlos was definitely a long
Yeah,
fan of Moebius, and Travis obviously was.
right,
Past that, you know, would be only a guessing game for me. Jim definitely was a fan for sure.
right,
Yeah,
right.
he had a real nice book. And then there was something. Oh, I was going to ask you too. Do you have your copy of the book? Because I wanted them to see your
I
cover.
do for
This,
sure. I mean, but this is my. I don't know which version. I would lend this book out or versions because there's multiple publications, right?
right.
I would lend it out to people and they would never get it back to me
Oh,
because
really? So
I
you've
would
had
never get it back from not because they stole it, but because maybe it will fall out of contact. You know what I mean? Or maybe we'll like, like they move away or something like that. Or I would never remember to get it from them, and so it just
right.
gets incorporated into the library. But when it comes to how many copies of this book I've had, I must have. I would say like a half dozen, if not more, at
Really?
one point or another.
Tell them how much that sells for now.
I didn't even know this. I was surprised because I looked up. I tried to look up earlier today before we got on stream if this book had any sort of narrative. And what I mean by that, not just in the book itself, but maybe
Sure.
it spoke about,
Yeah.
a certain portion of Mobius's life, where he
Right.
was, emotionally, psychologically. Was it like when he was in Spain? Was it because he was in the middle of the desert? Whatever it is, whatever
Right.
inspired it. And there's not too many stories out there, but what I did find are the editions of this book that are out, or maybe some that are already out of print.
Yeah.
And this one in specific, if I read it correctly, and your chat can sort of verify and double check it for me, but this book is like $400 or $500
Yeah.
because I think it's stupidly out of print. And I got this at Stuart Ing's. And I'm trying to see how much I got it for.
It looks like I honestly, when you flip through it, I thought I saw 145 towards the front cover. Believe it or not,
That's what he sold it at the store, and I don't know because it's so. Yeah, it says no, not 145. It's 45.
Oh, 45. Okay.
Yep, and the receipt is still in here. Check this out. So whatever it is that I bought at Stewart's
Oh yeah.
at 1/16/2010, this was one of right, and this was one of them at $45.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you one thing. That's not the one that you had at Wildstorm, because that would have been at least 5 to 8 years before that.
Exactly. So I don't know where that book went.
So this is only the second time that I've ever done this. But before I did this video, I told you today I did this. I actually went and bought myself a copy of the book because this is what's funny too, is it was on eBay. The seller was actually Stewart. I went to his website and I was able to get it for a few dollars cheaper than what he was selling it for on eBay.
Yeah.
So the copy I got is a reprint they did a few years ago. They only made 3,000 copies of it. It's almost impossible to find, and that was $50. But I got very, very lucky. I don't think that you're going to be able to find them that easily, but I would definitely recommend get them soon because when they sell out, they're going to go way through the roof.
Yeah, and they it's not as if they're ever out of print, right? But they are
Right.
definitely, there's gaps between printings. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you'll get, the 2000 whatever edition, it'll be another 7 some odd years, and then later on, they'll print out another one, and for every subsequent one that they print, the previous edition
Yeah.
keeps going up in price.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Are you ready to get into this?
Let's go, man.
Man,
Let's
you're
can I
drawing.
draw and talk to you about images? Are you going to be bringing them
Yeah.
up on screen like you had previously?
We're going to go through the whole book.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's do it.
Dude, I can't believe how much of a kick-ass drawing you've gotten down in like 10 minutes.
It's just the best part about the thing that I learned about Moebius is that sometimes you look at some of his images, let's say anything from that book, right?
Yeah.
And it seems so well calculated and well planned out, but that's not actually the truth. Like I
Yeah.
feel like he's gotten so comfortable in the style that he utilizes that he can just kind of like, oh, that's a cool shape, and I'm just going to keep that,
Yeah.
and I feel like in part, if I'm able to translate that book, that's sort of an exercise in just like stream of consciousness. There's a
Sure.
general subject matter in mind that he has in mind, and then he'll just start drawing, right?
Yeah.
And he has such mastery over composition and just rendering and all those kind of. Well, we'll see it. Start flipping through the book because we're going to be
Okay.
able to see all of it.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll chit chat it as we go. So I'm going to share my screen. I won't be able to see the chat super easily, but I do have my iPad open, so I will kind of be able to.
Yeah.
This was the cover that I thought that you had when I saw the book at Wildstorm, and I think
I'm going to bring your chat up real quick. That way I can also pay attention. So keep talking. I'll bring it up.
So look at the piece that I'm showing right now. Is this the cover that you used to have? This is the one I remember.
Yeah, that's the one I had.
Okay, because this is what I thought the cover of the book was. So when
I know that's the one I had. Yeah, I think, and I don't know how far back that one goes, but I think that's it. You know what tripped me out when I first saw this book? I mean, tripped me out just recently. Is see how there's a letter B at the end?
Right.
I was convinced there was a letter A. You know what I mean? Like another 40 Days in Desert, but the A edition.
We're all OCD, so it's like you probably for the next 6 years were trying to figure out where A was.
No. I just did it today. I literally that B just popped, like it literally, like it just sort of like lit up for me to be like, oh, there's a B. I wonder if there's an A.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. Oh, and you know what? Let me get out of this for 1 second because I did have something. I'm just gonna quote this really quick. So I thought this was interesting. So these pieces were drawn in 1999. This is a comment under sort of an article about Moebius. So this is someone saying this. I don't know if this is 100% true, but it says this series of drawings was produced in 1999 when Giraud decided to give up cannabis. He forced himself to draw something every day for 70 days just to prove to himself that his creativity wasn't innately tied to drugs. In French, check this out. In French, desert bee is pronounced identically to, and I can't pronounce the word, but it essentially means to pull up weeds.
There you go. So it's not necessarily a volume or a naming nomenclature. It's a play on words, right?
Right. It's pretty trippy. So
it's pretty cool.
My iPad is trying to. Okay, so we're back on my screen. I just want to make sure I was back on my screen because it was looking weird on my iPad. Okay,
how's your audio, Rich? You sound a little computery. Are you okay?
I think I'm okay. Am I so computery?
Right now you are. Let's ask chat. Chat, does it sound like he's a little bit on the computer side, or is that just me?
Hello. Am I computery?
I think that might be me. I'm not exactly sure.
Jimmy says, "Oh, you know what? If you have the audio on, sometimes it's better to wear headphones and not listen to me through YouTube."
Yeah, no. I'm listening through using my audio there.
Oh, I have bad bandwidth. They're saying.
There you go. It's
Oh, it's
it's warbly, they say. Yeah.
okay. Cyber Rich. Just here, do me a favor. Just let me know if it gets really bad, and we'll try to fix it. But I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing really I can do just this second.
Well,
So
listen, I'll take computer voice. I'll
okay.
take it.
All right. So, do you have any thoughts on this cover? I love it, and I think it looks beautiful in color, even though the book.
Yeah, what's interesting is that what I'd gotten used to about Moebius is primarily, and I think you know what I'm talking about, Rich. Like what I know about Moebius is that like his traditional
Right.
coloring, right? So when
Right.
I see stuff like this and it's digital, it kind of trips me out. It's him sort of wrapping his mind around, how to color things digitally as opposed to what he had done historically, which is,
Right.
with watercolor and ink washes and so on.
Right. So this is digitally colored. This cover.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For
Okay.
sure.
So I'm going to shut this one, and we'll see what we've got. It should go in order. Okay, so these are some of the color pieces that are in the new version of the book. There's 8 additional pages.
No, you're
Uh,
kidding. That's awesome.
this is beautiful. Look at this, Eric.
Hold on. It's going to come up on screen in a second.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
You're gonna love it. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, wow. I've seen that image before, actually. I can't recall where, but I've seen that image before. Oh, I know what it is. They had a friend of mine went to the Moebius exhibit in Germany, and she had sent me a copy
Uh-huh.
of that book. You know what? I'm actively looking for it now because it came with a print, and then it also came with a book. And let me look for it. Keep talking, Rich. I can hear you.
Yeah, no worries. So this is such a beautiful piece, but the color palette reminds me a tiny bit of the artist Odd Nerdrum. Do you know Odd Nerdrum's work? It's very heavily
No.
Rembrandt influenced.
Huh. It's fascinating. No, I don't know them at all, but you know what? I don't have time to look for the Moebius thing, but I'm telling you, in the Moebius exhibit, there was a oh gosh, what do you call that when you go through a museum and they give you a little pamphlet, like an exhibition thing, that shows
Right.
everything in that collection? And I think that's where I saw that original inside that pamphlet.
Man,
So
this
that's
is,
awesome.
I'm gonna zoom in on it big because I noticed sometimes when we look at the art, it's a little funner if I zoom in kind of ridiculously big.
Yeah, 100%.
It's funny. This almost looks a little bit like oh shoot, I can't think of his name. The director of Psycho.
Who's that? Oh,
Alfred.
yeah. You mean the proportions on the guy's face?
Yeah, a little bit. He's got a
Yeah,
little
I can see it.
Alfred Hitchcock
I
kind of.
can see it.
What's up with the blanket? Is this a map? Do you think is this a map?
Which one?
What he's sitting on, or is it just
I
a
don't know. I think again, this is one of those pieces, at least in my opinion, where
right?
he just let the image take him where he needed to go, right? Or where it needed to go. Like it may have been planned that it was a guy sort of squatting on a map or on a mat, and then there's a bunch of people behind him. But I just feel like he's so comfortable in his own sort of headspace that by the time all was said and done, this is what it ended up to be. There may have been an original plan, but I don't think this is the image that was in his head. Like I'm just
Right.
gonna play. I'm just gonna play.
Yeah.
And there's very people who know how to do that and do it well. And I think his work, especially his line work, is so forgiving for that level of randomness, and that level of playfulness.
Yeah.
Artists who are super tight and who are super deliberate, right?
Yeah.
And so, and you can tell when they are, not that they're not confident, but you can tell when they are not in their sort of wheelhouse when it comes to their work.
Sure.
And I don't know if I could ever make that distinction when it comes to Moebius stuff, because he did this. He'll do like he had done a book called Blueberry, which was a cowboy book.
Right.
He'll do Airtight Garage, which is like super sci-fi. So he's kind of got a pretty great mental Rolodex,
Yeah.
right?
Here's another one of the new colored plates from this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wait, it's gonna come up on screen any second. It's a little bit of
Yeah.
a lag. How is everybody though? How's everyone in chat? How are all of you? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of pulled from one of the image inside 40 days, right? Like
Yeah.
it's an updated version of one of the images inside 40 days.
This is really interesting. There were these, I called them ant lions as a kid, but there's these bugs that live in dirt that
Mm.
kind of look like this. So another thing that I remembered now too was, okay, so when Moebius was, I believe, a teenager, his mother married, I think, a Mexican guy or a Spanish guy. And
Huh.
so Moebius moved for about a year and lived in the desert. And so that definitely was part of like a little bit of the inspiration and grounding of some of the maybe visuals. A
Yeah.
little.
Hey, that
It,
makes sense to me, man.
it's interesting, all the stuff on the skull. There's like figures in here. Community.
Yeah, and there's I don't know if you know a guy, an artist. He's I would say a decent friend of mine. He and I pretend to have a very adversarial relationship online anytime that he posts on Twitter, but it's all out of love and jokes. His name is Dan Panosian, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and so Dan and I have a term for that sort of like detail. We call it flim flam, you know.
Oh
And
right.
it's there's very few artists that we know of who could pull that off. Dan is one of them,
Yeah,
where he can put it in there, and it's just a lot of like nonsense, right? It's effectively flim flam, but they make it look so good that it almost feels like there is intent behind it, as opposed to just sort of filling up space with like really interesting shapes and noise, right?
right.
I call that Moebius flim flam.
So this is the cover of the book that I ordered today.
Let's see. Oh, cool. I
It's a
wonder which. Let me see. Look on the bottom left hand corner, Rich, because most of the time the editions are never done by the same publisher because either the publisher goes like, goes bankrupt or you know what I mean? Like I don't know if any of these books in the different editions they've been printed in has ever been done by the same printer and publisher, right?
right.
So like when I see Moebius Productions, I'm wondering if that is a somebody who had gotten a license to it, somebody who has sort of, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
one that I have in the bottom left hand corner, it says Edition Stardom Moebius Production, you know?
right. Man, the colors on this are so beautiful,
Yeah.
and this does look hand colored to me.
It does.
I
Yep. Yep. Or he found a way, and I think that no, you're absolutely right. I think that's hand colored. But the better, I think you can tell when he started his journey doing digital, because he was really bound by the digital medium, and as the sophistication of the program evolved, that is Photoshop, right? He got better at bridging that delta between making it look like it's pure on digital, like the one that we saw previously or in the beginning, to
yeah,
what we're looking at now, where it's like, oh, that looks more traditional, you know? So he's
man.
really starting to blur that line.
When he applies this turquoise or whatever you call this, kind of minty green bluish sky, aquamarine maybe, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
What like, is that done with a paintbrush or is it airbrush? I have no idea. Like, how does he get the grad so smooth?
In the sky. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
dark
kind
sky.
of suspicious in regards to whether or not this is traditional or digital,
Oh,
because
okay.
oftentimes in the past when he's used that same color palette, because that's actually within the ink or the not the ink washes, but like the
Over here, it looks like watercolor though, but I know, well, it's very pixely if you zoom in. But like
yeah.
over here, this looks a lot like watercolor. But I mean, I've been in like Corel Painter. I know what it can do. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be either or. It could be both, right? He could have gone in there in post production and touched it all up digitally, but I don't know if that sky is traditional.
even right here, he's got a little bit of a splatter or a smear
Yeah.
on the jacket.
Yeah. That bush is like that bush in the far background with like that super rusty red, right?
Yeah,
Like that's the dead. I feel like that's a dead giveaway that at one point this thing or one version of this thing was traditional,
yeah.
and then he went in there and touched it all up digitally.
Okay, right, right, right. I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's get into the book that he booked.
Yeah.
So the cover is in black and white in this. This is just a PDF that I found online. So
Yeah.
for people that can't afford the book, there is a PDF version that you can seek out just so that you have the images.
Yeah, can I ask your chat, how many of you guys know of Moebius's work, or is this the first time that you guys are hearing about it? I suspect that the people that show up at your chat, I'm gonna guess, are like they run the full gamut of, like, between fans to like artists to whatever. But I'd be kind of interested if there are any other people in your chat who have never seen Moebius's work before. That is this the first time that they've ever been exposed to it, because that's kind of exciting.
Right. I was watching a lot of Dan Fraga's Fragtober, where they drew every night, and one of the nights was Moebius, and it was actually
Yeah.
really fun to watch. But Charlie, who draws Fatal, didn't really know Moebius's work.
Oh, right on.
I won't say that he didn't know it like across the board, but he was definitely not super familiar with his work.
Sure.
So that was kind of interesting because he's a really, really good artist.
Yeah, sure. And I think depending on where you are in your, first of all, in your overall awareness, and then ultimately where you are in the journey of becoming a better draftsman, right? Like, Mobius is a very specific frequency, Like, you won't appreciate how good he is until you appreciate how good he is, right? Because, like, some people will go their entire lives and be like, Mobius, whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's not very appealing to you. But once your brain kind of turns on to that Mobius vibe, you can't escape it. Like, you can see people taking from it all the time. Lost my audio. Okay. Let's see. Let me try coming back, Rich.
Hey, we're back.
Welcome back. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, I can't. Sorry about that. I have no idea why I don't know if it was my router went down or the Wi-Fi at our house, but either or. It's unusual. It's like we've got a really good setup, so no idea
Don't
what
sweat it,
happened.
man.
All
Don't
right.
sweat it.
So, okay, let's get into the book.
Let's do it.
Sorry about that. Like, dude, seriously, the internet never goes out at night. During the day it can get a little weird, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what went on.
Don't worry about it. Let's go.
It just sucked. I was like,
It
no.
does.
All right. So yeah, okay. So this is the cover. This is just a grayscale version of it. And I mean, it's a nice piece, but we'll just get into the pages.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, and this is nice. This is going to go in order. So this is a little credits page, which we'll see later in the book, and it's for Isabel, maybe his wife. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyone know?
All right, here we go. There is panel 1. So this is interesting. It's if what that guy said was accurate, it's 40 days in the desert, but it is 70 pieces.
Right. I think that was a working title in a sense, in the grander sense, as for an experience, but not necessarily because each day is represented by an image.
Right. They said that it has something to do with mescaline or peyote, and then also something religious. So I don't know if 40 days in the desert was something that happened maybe in the Bible.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So what do we got here? We've got, it looks like just the number 40, and we've got a character sort of, I don't know, he seems to be in some sort of little area.
Right. It looks like the ruins of something, doesn't it? Right. And it spells out whatever is that's left over is 40. But this is what I mean. It's like we take a look at this stuff and then we'll go like, what does that all mean? What is he trying to communicate? And what is it? Blah, blah, blah. But I bet you it's just like stream of consciousness stuff. Right.
I find it interesting that the guy is dragging his foot, or there's a little bit of smoke behind it. Like, that's probably the biggest curiosity for me. Is I'm trying to figure out, because his gait looks like he's like dragging his back foot.
Yep, for sure.
Doesn't look like a walking pose. Oh, I guess he's stepping over the stone.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. There are plenty of times when I'm doing pages and I kind of you rough in a quick little sketch of something and then you go like, oh, now that it's time to go and clean that thing up.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm just going to leave that there. But ultimately, like in the beginning, that didn't really mean anything, just like quick little thing. So again, being as comfortable as he is with his craft, he must have just kind of put that in.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next one.
Go.
We have many. Dude, that's so awesome. God, that is such a great little drawing. Oh, it's so nice.
That's great. That's just such a great exercise in composition and contrast, right? Because like you'll get this super heavy, almost black area, super noodly part at the tip of the wings or where the joint of the wing, and then he'll go back to light, and then same thing with the clouds at the bottom left-hand corner. It's pretty amazing.
God, it's such a beautiful little drawing.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Dragging across the sand, making like a little scratch that's kicking up the dirt.
Right.
It's interesting too, because again, I know like you said, a lot of this is probably just kind of like it happens, but it is fascinating because she doesn't really look like she's writing it as much as she's just sort of writing parallel with it.
Right. Yeah, there's a sense of movement too that I think he has, and an inherent skill of being able to capture. Right, it's got something to do with the fact that cloud kind of poofs out towards the back, and it looks like it's dragging along. So that's kind of cool. Really, really cool.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's keep going. We've got a ton to get through. These are so iconic. This guy, the close up of this guy's face.
I'm looking up as I draw, Rich. Forgive me if I don't immediately comment. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
His the helmets that he draws on people or the hats. Those are those are based on something? Do you know like what
Yeah.
are they French hats of some
Yeah,
sort?
well, they're like British Empire pith helmets, right? Like
Okay.
from like old school, World War II, Africa campaign kind of a thing.
Right. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh man, look at that. Whoo, that's some hot stuff right there. Wow.
I'm I am curious to know how symmetrical that previous piece was.
Right. Uh,
That was bonkers how close to almost, mirrored though each side of that face was. I
that,
wonder if that was the exercise when he was doing it. It was like, how close can I make this look? Like I
so
just said,
there is almost a pot leaf right here in the middle of his hat, the lower part of the brim. I don't know
I
if you can
see
see
it.
the cursor, but yeah, it looks like
Yeah, I see it.
pot leaf. And there's these stoned eyes to the left and right of it.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
That's
Well,
funny.
then that kind of proves out what you were talking about, right? Like he wanted to prove that he could do this stuff when he's not on pot, right?
It's interesting that I find it curious that he had like some sort of a pot problem or something. That's weird.
But also, now that we're talking about it, like not really all that surprising, right?
No. I guess it isn't. He could have easily done this stuff without it, but it probably kickstarted the original ideas. Meaning like when he initially did it in the '60s or something. But
Right.
once you've experienced it, you along.
And it's like once you've experienced it, it's in your system. You know what it's like. Your brain takes pictures of everything.
Yeah, this almost looks like hands clasped together praying right here. This like little logo right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
so
all that detail is very Moebius, and I can't tell you how many times I stole it for Cybernary. So
all right. That's awesome.
yeah,
Oh, there's a little heart right there too. It's funny. All right.
it's just the,
Oh, look at this. This is like so minimalistic. So this is drawing number 4.
let's see. Yeah. And not any less affected than the other one, right?
Yeah,
There's a sense of movement, there's a sense of composition. You could, like any good piece of art, you could infuse it with narrative. So
yeah.
it's pretty dang awesome.
It's funny because I don't know why when you were talking, it reminded me of looking at this. Is like if you posted this online now, people would do you a solid and color it for you.
Right.
You'd be like, oh man, I appreciate people's enthusiasm with stuff like that, but like I've seen people do it like with Mignola when he was doing his monster drawings like a
Oh,
month,
right.
and people will color it for him, and you're just like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
know, I don't know.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't.
Maybe, maybe leave it alone. It's like
Right.
at least ask
Maybe
first.
just let Mike be Mike.
Yeah, it's like if he wants to color it, it's all right. I get the enthusiasm though because I've done
For
stuff
sure.
like that where
I don't think it's coming from a malicious place, but
no,
sometimes you're like, oh, that's you're ill equipped to do that Mignola image.
right. So this is interesting. This is giving me like a Beatles Yellow Submarine vibe, or almost
Yeah,
like Teletubbies. This guy
yeah,
right here, he looks like a Teletubby.
he really is. He
It's
really
like
is. But that's not unique in Mobius's world. He loves those pin-headed looking guys.
it's
Like
so funny.
you see that in a lot of his previous works.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so
It's
funny.
pretty dang awesome. Pretty dang awesome.
So this guy's like the shaman. Like everybody comes and visits the shaman, and he's just like all in the zone.
Yeah, yeah, and I get it goes back to what we were talking about before we start showing these images. It's like we populate the narrative with whatever baggage that we have.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I don't know if there's something that he actively put in there by way of storytelling. We just kind of go like, okay, there seems to be a narrative through line, and it's the shaman guy, right? But I
Right.
bet you, and he's coming down off a pot or whatever it
Right.
is. He's just like, oh, there's a guy, and he's got this fancy hat that never stays consistent.
He's smoking banana peels to like just catch any kind of a buzz. So this is what an interesting transition from the Teletubby guy standing there with the shaman, and there's like nothing going on to like he decided to like ramp it up to this in one page.
Yeah. Would you be surprised, Rich, if you found out that he did 0 pencils for this? He just went straight to ink, and
I mean, yeah, it would. But he is that good that
he is that guy.
yeah, I mean, it would really be impressive. Do you think he did this with no pencils?
I suspect it.
Oh my
I suspect
God.
that it did.
Some of the figures up at the top, I mean, like, there's like, man, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I guess so. I mean, we've seen a lot of people do it now.
Yeah.
Once you know you can do it. It's funny that he's exposing that woman's breasts. I'm curious of what's going on there. This naked guy seems to be defending her with some sort of pipe that looks like it has a rabbit's foot on the end of it.
Right.
They wear belts. Like, she's got kind of a girdle on and he has a girdle on too. And then these, I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, but look, just amazing how much detail is going right in the right places in order for you to understand what that value or what that form, the volume is, right?
Right.
Like, independent of what we're talking about right now, I always look at like how do they make that thing look like a cylinder?
Right.
With like with Morse code rendering, right? Like dash dot, dash dot, dash dot.
So apparently, oh shit.
What happened?
Oh, my monitor went out. Hold on.
Oh boy.
It's all right. There, it's back. That was weird. So apparently day 6, when you don't have weed, things get really weird for you. I think that's the takeaway on this particular piece.
I agree. Or things get, is it weird or boring? Which one?
Right. Okay, so let's see what we got after this. Now I'm really curious of what's going to be next. Oh, look at this. Wow.
He's hand-holding you through an emotion, Rich.
Now we've got, this is very Beatles Yellow Submarine. It's like we've got like a carnival or something going on.
I'd be curious to know who the artist was on that Yellow Submarine stuff.
Oh, it's really good art. I like that stuff a lot.
I bet. And the reason why I'm asking is like how much of it, who pulled from whom, Like, was it Moebius pulling from that guy or was it vice versa? Because I feel like there's got to be some sort of synchronicity there, some sort of tangential connection, right?
Right. Well, this is 1999. I'm trying to remember if there was a resurgence of sort of Beatles stuff, like on TV or something that maybe.
Oh, sure.
They have little, like, the anniversaries and stuff like that. It starts to get sort of back into the psyche of people.
Right.
Man, it's really cool. So this guy is this kind of Hispanic guy is like holding like a ring and looking at it like almost like a wedding ring.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if maybe now. Oh, you know what? Maybe the desert, I think, is getting more and more populated, and this guy is at peace, and everybody keeps gathering around him. Is the sense that I'm getting is like everything is being built around him. People are coming to him to get married. I don't know.
For me, I love the narrative that you're putting into it. I really, really do.
I'm not
as adventurous as you. I can't even begin to like guess, but I love the narrative that you're putting into it.
Anything for YouTube. No.
Anything for YouTube. That's a very good point.
So this is interesting. It looks now to me like enough time has gone by that everybody is gone. They've either passed away and life has changed on Earth, and yet he remains.
Yeah, the best and worst job ever, right? Like, as everyone goes away, you're stuck in that same crouching, kneeled position.
Right. His hands are in a very like Egon Schiele kind of spot.
Oh, I could see it.
Do you see how they're like he's put them off like to the side of the body, and they're very elongated.
Yeah. If we're to imagine his how his arms are, right?
This is a sad piece. How do
you figure?
I think that everyone has died and gone away. That's the point.
Oh, Rich.
This looks like a little bit of a nod to Picasso, the bull, the World War II thing. I think this is a reference to that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I do. I think it's a reference to Picasso. I think it's a reference to possibly death or leaving or abandonment or going to the next place.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm on board. You're driving the bus. I'm going with you.
This looks very much like from that Picasso piece to me.
Right on.
Okay.
I'm sure that's not too far. I mean, those are
That's
the cross-pollination of things.
Here we go. Is this a tree? It's a tree, right?
I think, or are you looking at the nuclear cloud one? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What's going on here? What is this?
Giant sprig of broccoli. There's like a suspiciously phallic rendered penis cloud in the back.
Right. Oh, true. Oh yeah, I see that. Wow, this is really crazy. And then there's men they're pulling a column across the desert here.
Right.
Man.
So we're on board. We're both saying that everyone is, the consensus is that's a tree, right?
It's raining women. Oh, someone said it's raining women. I like that. That's a sexier version of that last piece.
and less sad, Rich, and less sort of.
Wow, this is really crazy. I'm assuming that this is a tree, but it kind of does have a little bit of a nuclear bomb sort of vibe.
Yeah. That could be in line to what you were talking about, where everyone has died.
But yeah. Oh wait,
because if you think about it, like if we go down the narrative that you're talking about, the previous shot was people behind him going out and kind of like disappearing, right? Like being Thanos snapped, and then now we're behind him, and we're looking at the reasoning behind it, right?
There's like a ship up in the sky too.
Yeah, it's the first time I'd seen that.
I never noticed that. Wow,
flying boat. Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. I actually really love the position of him sitting, the way that the shot is and where he is in the panel and how he's pulled the camera back. And now we're maybe like 20 yards behind him. Sure. I think it's really nice. It's a really, really great sense of scale.
I'm into it.
Me too. Man, this is fun, Eric.
Is it? Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, look, they're carrying a big bottle of beer or whiskey. I don't know what it is.
I know it will be a bottle though. Later on, you'll get to see it in super. There it is, right?
But yeah,
I don't know what that says. French-speaking people in chat, please explain to me or extrapolate based on the letters that are on that bottle that you can read. What does it say?
It looks like it says "Big Dream."
Big Dream. Okay. What about the part? What about anybody? Like, let's say on the. It says something without something sans without. I can't. I don't know enough French.
And lay. NOI, possibly an A.
Fellow detectives, figure it out with us, please. Anyone?
And this is interesting too. This is the little skiff thing that girl was riding on, I think.
You mean from earlier? Look at how much scale changes. Imagine if that's true, Rich. Right? And that means in the previous image, that thing was like super close to camera, right?
Right. Well, but look at the size of these men carrying the bottle. It's in scale to them.
That little skiff thing, is it really?
Yeah, watch one.
Because they couldn't ride it, right?
No, when I pull the camera out, you're going to see in a second. Do you see it now on the ground compared to them? They're about the size that the woman was standing above it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Do you think?
I thought they were a lot smaller in that shot in the nuclear mushroom the tree shot.
Yeah, they were very far away.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. This is interesting. Oh, look, here we go. Oh, it's interesting. Wow. Okay. So let's see what these guys have got. The one guy's got like a twisted piece of metal in his hand that's been sort of almost tied.
Yeah. Yeah. Also representing a ring, maybe. Like I'm trying to track where their body parts are. This guy in the front, this guy's on the cover of the book of the version that I have. But look how pretty all of that detail is. I don't know what any of it means, but it's pretty dang awesome.
The clothes are great. The sleeve on the guy in the foreground shirt is awesome. Man, this is only drawing 11. Man, he was just killing it.
Yeah. Now, do you think is like similar to like his version of of an Inktober, Rich? Is it one per day? Is that the?
Right. I think he could do one of these per day. Do you?
Yeah, I bet.
There's a few. I remember thinking that back when I originally saw the pieces. There's a couple that look like they may have spilled into a second day. I also think that he is not probably someone that would shy away from a very, very long day.
Right,
So,
right.
he could easily draw 16 or 20 hours in a day if he wanted to. There's no doubt in my mind.
I wish we had more context of these, like where he was in his life when he did all of this stuff, right?
So now naked girls have come out of the bottle.
Right. They dragged it across the desert. And
Boy,
there's that skiff again, just without a pilot, just zipping along.
yeah, what is going on? It looks like this
Right.
thing is filled with either penises or pills.
I'll opt for pills, right?
Well, look, they look like something.
Yep. I'll say pills.
Okay, pills. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take my mind out of the gutter.
Is this a family broadcast, Rich? Is it?
No,
Is it a family show?
my channel is not for children.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
Looking
then maybe it's penis.
right, and this is interesting too. Is she's also got a band of metal.
Let's see.
The plot.
Oh, I see it. I see it. And also somebody happens to be carrying. I was about to see somebody who looks super androgynous. She's licking that lady's hair.
Yeah.
She must be delicious.
As you might do in the desert.
Right. As you typically do in the desert.
I wonder why she is licking her hair, though. That is a little weird.
That's weird? No, this whole thing's weird.
That's really weird. No.
That's the one that pops out to you is weird.
Oh, man, look at this shit. Woo! What do we got here? Naked guys.
This is definitely not a family friendly.
Look, and that dude, he's still sitting there. Now he's got a couple of dogs. Over here. So he's chilling. He's got a couple of dogs. We've got some robot. Oh, they're numbered. So 7 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that dude's face in the ground in the bottom left-hand corner. You see it right there? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go slow through this so we can see what ell's going on. This is fun. I've never looked at this that closely.
No?
Not like this. I've never owned the book. I was gonna get it. When I saw how expensive it was, I was like, okay, well, that's not for me.
That's so
buying
funny.
a piece of original art. $500 book.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. This guy's like placing rocks here. Oh, and we've got unicorns.
Where do you see a unicorn?
There's 2 right back here. Or Pegasus. Sorry, right?
Oh, I see it. I see it. No, it's unicorn. Unicorn. Pegasus with wings.
Right.
It's a unicorn.
This kind of looks like a penis too.
I think we found this evening's theme here, Rich.
Right. Okay, Moebius, let's go. What do you got for us in the next page? Oh, look.
Calm down, Moebius.
Suspicious naked guy.
He was on. This was the X amount of days where everybody's naked. Look at that guy with like next to numbers. Oh, we cut away, but there was an awesome dude with the number 7. The guy standing next to him.
So this is panel 16 or drawing 16.
Yeah, this guy looks guilty.
Yeah, he looks very suspicious.
Yeah, this guy is like the weird version of like Dr. Manhattan, where he got caught before.
His body shape is very odd. Like he's very I don't know, like there's not like curvature.
Yep. He's a mess, dude.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave the naked guy alone. Ooh, look at this. This is nice. This is the most black that I think he has in any of these drawings, right?
Let's see it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the most solid black that he's had. That's kind of awesome, though, man. Holy cow! Look how great that looks.
We'll on a few things here in a second, but yeah. So this is still the original guy that's been kneeling or sitting there the whole time.
Is it? I've always wondered. Is it the same guy? Because there's not that many consistent details, short of maybe his overall shape, right?
Do you think he's like Jack Torrance? Like he's always been at the Overlook Hotel, but it could be different people that sort of take the spirit of the cross-legged man. So let's look at this over here. There's a very interesting little pile of things going on. We've got a decapitated body, or someone with a very shrunken head.
Yeah.
A figure, sort of, I don't even know, like either it's really just sort of like a closed off crouch position. It's very weird. And then they're carrying this body of what looks like a pregnant woman.
I see it. Did you see that guy that was standing to the far right, and he looks like he's sort of giving the guy sitting down in front of him the business?
Yes.
Something very erotic about that, Moebius.
Well, it's interesting is he's holding like a box.
Is he?
Yeah, there's a square
I see it.
object that pokes out on both sides here.
Yeah.
And he's got bull horns, but what's interesting is his back legs are very, very weird. He has human arms. This is like, there's a little bit of a forearm you'll see, and then his hand, but his back legs look like they're animal, bovine.
I see. I love that description, Rich.
Right. I know. I don't often say bovine. This guy's got really cool body paint on him. Do you see this like line across this guy's back with the dripping paint? It's actually a nice touch.
Oh, the stream has yet to catch up. I'm about 3 seconds behind from when you say something.
No worries. It's probably my laggy ass computer.
I hope everything's okay.
Oh, I mean, it is. My computer is actually, I've got a good computer. I think the internet's just whatever.
Yeah, it's just acting up. Yep. I get it.
He's got a bloody line on his back. I see that, Eric. And what's up, everyone? Hi.
Oh, I didn't have the opportunity to say hello to chat.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
I know.
How's everything going?
He had shame in his eyes. I've seen the shame myself in the mirror. This figure actually standing next to the guy down on the ground. This is a very, very large person. Their body is quite big. They have a little bit of the Avatar sort of body type to me.
I see it.
The proportions seem much larger than the man on the ground.
But holy cow, look how well drawn that thing is, man. Yeesh.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Okay, let's move on. We're going to plate 16. Wow, he's like sucking in interesting things.
I like that descriptive. Interesting things.
So that the skiff thing is in the piece. We've got it right here. It's kind of being lifted in the air. The bow, I think, was in a previous piece. I can't remember if he had it in the very last one.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think how it all comes to what does this all come together narratively for you?
So this is interesting. On these stones right here, I see the number 1. Oh, Isabel. Yeah. He wrote Isabel. So this is dedicated to whoever Isabel is. It says ISABELLE on these stones right in the front of him.
Oh, I see it. Do you think it's somebody that broke his heart, Rich? You think it's somebody?
It could be. I isn't he married though, or wasn't he married? I mean, I guess you could have been divorced, like married and divorced and then remarried. I don't know what his whole thing was.
The French have many muses, dude. Many.
Right. Isabel could be. There's a Hendrix song called Isabella.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the Hendrix song.
That's where you got it from.
Maybe. This is this is around the time that he did the Voodoo Soup album cover. Funny enough.
Wait, who did the Voodoo Soup album cover?
Moebius did a Jimi Hendrix
right
album cover. Hendrix had been dead for 20 years, but more than that, actually. If he did it in 2000, it'd be 30 years. This is nice. I like when there's a little bit of black in the pieces. I actually think that it does make them look pretty cool.
I agree.
All right, let's see.
Am I being helpful to your analysis, Rich? Because I'm literally just sitting here going, "That's awesome."
Well,
I agree.
You're creating art here. Let's get out of this for 1 second. Let's take a peek at your drawing. We'll take a little sneaky peek at what you're up to. I'm gonna give you the screen. Let me. I think this will work. Oh no, wait. Here. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's see your drawing. Wow, damn, dude, it's looking good, Eric. There's a party in his mouth. Replicant says. Chauncey says that Isabel is his second wife.
Ah, there you go.
So maybe he abstained from weed for Isabella.
Right. She said, "I
That
bet you can't. I bet you can't do it."
oh, you think it was? I bet you can't.
No, it's like, "I bet you can't do it," and he's like, "I bet you I can't either." You just can't
Right. Right. Okay, we're going back in.
get
Right.
to it. I got like I got like another 10 minutes with you, Rich, and I'm going to excuse myself. I don't know if I
Okay.
can keep if I could do the whole entire book. I have to excuse
Okay.
myself for the evening, but
Okay.
this
No
has
worries.
been fun so far, friend. Thank you
Okay.
for having me.
No worries. All right, we're going back in. We'll go fast. So this is the cover. So we've seen this piece already. This was the color cover that we looked at first.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go through that. Oh, this is interesting. This is nice. We've got looks like another hunter teaching him to shoot the bow.
Yeah. Is it the one where he's pointing? Yep. Yep.
Yep.
But actually, you know what? I don't know if it's is it the hunter telling him where the arrow has gone because there's nothing locked into that bow, right? Or is he
Right.
telling him where to shoot? Is that what it is?
It could be. And the bows don't actually have arrow tips on them. They're just
Like
sticks.
sticks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hurling insults. That's what he's doing.
Could be. Could be. I like the clouds. Clouds are nicely drawn.
That's always been in his back pocket. What's that owl in the bottom right hand corner?
Oh, I
What's
missed
that?
it. It was a little face on one of the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so this is interesting. This little skiff thing is back and it's like smoking.
Somebody overrode that skiff, man.
Right. And then this stuff is all trippy with the like it's like a peace pipe robot head or something.
Right.
I
He's just
almost
so damn good. Look at all that nonsense detail, but it's so interesting to take a look at.
there's a part of me that wished that I didn't know about the weeds part of the story.
Why?
I
Doesn't
don't
it
know. I don't know because then it's like I'm like is he like I want it to be more
than just weed?
more than him like pining away for weed. He's like, oh man, I just need some Hindu Kush, please. I don't. Did he ever live in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
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 Oh my God, look at this! Wow, holy shit, dude, that is so badass. Jesus, that is so cool. So this is 20.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I imagine that to be sort of the standout image out of the entire book. That's the one I think when I had it placed in front of my desk at Wildstorm, that was the one that was directly in front of my eyeballs. And so
Wow.
I would constantly look at that. I think of it like a giant like dragon lantern, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cool looking.
Yeah, it really is.
Gosh. And the little skiff is still down here, dragging it around the ground. It's really interesting. Man, this is nice. It's funny. It definitely it has almost the vibe of like how money is rendered. You know,
Oh yeah, yep, yeah.
some of the
Mor-
ornate.
Morse code, man. Morse
That like,
code.
do they call that filigree? Is that what it's called on money? The design elements
I'm
of
not
it.
exactly sure. I've heard that term used for something else, but it could be.
Yeah, filigree is like a fancy picture frames or something like gold filigree.
Yeah. Well, it means like detail on the side, right?
Yeah,
Or detail around.
this is really cool. This plant or whatever that's growing out of this volcano or whatever it is over here is very interesting.
Stand by, Rich.
Man, they could have done
Mm-mm-mm.
a Moebius coloring book out of this. Are you there, Eric? Oh no, am I? I lost my audio. Are you there? Hmm. Did I? Hello? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the StreamYard just for 1 second. Let me oh, hold on. Eric vanished for a second. Give me 1 second. No worries. Give us 1 second. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll get back in a second. Eric can go, I think, for a couple more minutes, and at least he can maybe pop on and say goodbye. Legendary Legend says Christ spent 40 days in the desert, and in that time he was tempted by a devil a couple of times. Now that I think of it, yeah, quitting weed and being tempted come to it. I kind of see it. Yeah, right. It's interesting. I never ever knew any backstory on this. I had just seen the pieces in Eric's posters, so it's kind of trippy. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess Eric isn't coming back. Okay, well, we'll keep going for a little bit. I can go for like another 20 minutes, so we'll keep looking at the book. Oh, wait, Eric did come back for a second. Hold on. So you got to take off for the night, Eric?
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, if you've got a split, it's fine. Are you there? Are you there, Eric? Hello? We'll see. I hear Eric. I don't think he hears us.
Hi, Rich. Sorry about that. Everything started falling apart on my end.
Yeah, no problem.
But I didn't want to exit without saying goodbye to your chat and saying thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Oh, so Brain Games says that he doesn't like Moebius. Shame on you, Brain Games.
Get out of here. Just
I would say this. If you have to go, Eric, you want to sign out? Let's take a look at Eric's piece really quick.
Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this less clumsy next time. But I had so much fun with you, man. This was so much fun. Thank you. Thank you.
We can't control the internet in terms of like if it, if the Wi-Fi goes down or something like that. So yeah, that's cool.
Right.
So you'll finish that, maybe post it tomorrow on like Twitter or something?
Yeah, I'll try to. I've got a couple more things I need to finish off in the house this evening, but I'll try to have it up by tomorrow.
So I was going to tell Brain Games really fast. I wouldn't judge Moebius on one particular book. He's done literally like 50 or 60 years worth of work, and it's all very, very different. The one thing that you have with Moebius is the variety of work that he's done. So, if you don't like this, you may like something else quite a bit. They're very different.
Let's get clarification. Were they trolling? Did they say like
No. He's a patron of mine. But
right on.
Different people have different tastes. It's hard
That's
to
right.
say. I don't know what he kind of grew up on and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, cool. Thanks, man. You have a great evening.
All right, and we're gonna get back to it
later.
Okay. Good night, Eric. Okay.
Good night. Bye.
All right. Okay, we're gonna go back into Moebius land. So let me do this really quick, and then we're gonna get back into it. I'll be following the chat on my iPad, so it lags a little bit, so I might not see the comments right away, but I will be watching it. So all right, let's go in and look at more. Yeah, Brain Games. You could tell them what you're into. Like, what are some of your favorite artists? All right, so we're back into it, and like I said, I can see the chat on my iPad, so we're good to go. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. I mean, this is a very, very weird comic book series or whatever you want to call it, like set of sequential stories. So, I mean, it's basically like this guy's little personal project that he did just to do it, So this is interesting. Man, there's a lot going on in this one. A lot of very like whimsical objects and bits and pieces of things. I think a lot of it too, you have to think of, I mean, you had artists like, well, I mean, before this, but Robert Crumb, Rick Griffin, a lot of the album cover stuff that we went through. I mean, you figure Moebius was like, he was growing up in the 50s and 60s and early 70s, and there was very, very experimental and weird art going on. So he comes from that school of thought of, you know, how do you go further? Well, sometimes to go further you have to go in very, very weird directions. So there's some really interesting stuff here, like why is this guy in a coffin, or I don't even know what it is, these little characters. My cat is nervous about this. Let's see what the chat says. Oh, Gustav Dorr, right. Oh, right, I can see that. I'm reading everyone's comments. The eyeball got hit with the arrow that was pointed out by the man in the previous picture. Oh, right. Interesting. How, I wonder, what do you think the time frame is between this panel and the last one in terms of like the amount of time that's gone by in the actual world? And where's our praying guy? Is this him right here? I'm trying to see if I can spot the dude. I'm looking really quick. Is he in it? He's got to be in every one, right? Maybe not. I don't see. I wonder, is this him? No. Well, interesting. All right, let's go to the next one. See what we got. Oh man, that's cool. I'll give you guys a second to catch up. I'll watch my iPad for when you see what I see. So this one almost has a tiny bit of a Jeff Darrow feel to me. Just the littlest, tiniest bit when you see it. Let's see. You guys have the new image yet? I'm on 23. Okay. Oh, okay. So there's quite a bit of lag. If okay, so now I think you're seeing the next image. Okay. Yeah, there's about a 10-second lag between what I'm doing and my iPad. So that's kind of weird. It could be StreamYard. You know what? There could be a ton of people streaming at night, and so it gets laggy. This is an interesting piece. Yeah, it's very, very weird. What's kind of trippy about this Moebius stuff here, let me get out of full screen mode for 1 second. I'm going to do something really fast. But you could actually color this stuff so quick. You'd have to flat it. Or wait, hold on. Let me. But even just. Oh. But you know what I mean? Like you lay one color on it. I'll let. You don't see any lag. Do you see color on the screen right now, Brain Games? Let me know if you see color on the screen that I put down on the piece. So there's definitely lag. Oh, you do now? Okay. Yeah, but I mean, do you see how fast you could color these pieces? I mean, just even a little bit of color really makes it look kind of cool. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, not a big deal. I'm just saying that like they would be fun to color. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. So this is trippy. It's actually funny doing these without someone else commenting. It feels so quiet here now. I'm used to having the camaraderie. It's like an old time actress. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. Yeah, yeah. No, it looks. I don't see any ruled lines. It looks like it's all freehand or like nothing is ruled. There's no circle templates and stuff like that. Gives it a nice little effect. We'll go past this one pretty fast. It's a pretty simple piece. Oh man, look at this. Wow. This is cool too. Very, very cool. Man, there's a lot of detail. You can see how he renders form here, like the light is hitting up here in this cylinder, and so he makes the line work more sparse. And as it gets around and it's wrapping around the edges, the line work will get more and more dense. There's more rows. He starts putting these little ticks in, and it all adds to a darker value range. And you can see it on these columns too, where the light is hitting this front face of it. And so there's just little tiny ticks. As they start to wrap around, they get closer together and more dense, and it gets darker based on that. We've got two guys fighting over here. It's kind of interesting. Let's see. I'm going to check the chat right now. What's up, Dan? How are you? Hey, Dan, do you want to come in? Do you want to come in the chat? Hold on. Let's see if Dan wants to come in. I need a partner. Come in, Dan. Oh, you're shutting down for the night? Boo. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Well, thank you for popping in, Dan. I appreciate it. All right, let's go back. We're going back in. All right. I'm going to share screen and go back in. All right. Yeah, this is a nice one. It's really cool. Let's keep going though, because we do have quite a few. We don't want to lag too hard. Oh man, this is nice. I like this actually. This dude is very, very cool looking. Wow. Man, this is great looking stuff. Wow. That's really cool. Let me know if you see the new image. I'm on like I sound like a goofy drunk. You wouldn't like me when I'm drunk. I get nasty. No, I'm just kidding. I'll fight the computer. The lag on my iPad is killing me because it's like I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm narrating. It makes it hard because I can't tell if you're literally like 15 or 20 seconds behind me. Let me know. I'm gonna I'm trying to see. Yeah, the Moebius blueberry stuff is actually cool, but I don't know based on what he said he was into if that would be the stuff that I would send him at. I think he would like the Arzak stuff. Okay, no. What's up? How's it going? Yeah, this page is great. Okay, let's look at the next one. Oh man. I don't even remember this piece. Oh, wow, it's really weird. This guy's got no legs. They're like just nubbins. I've seen there's an artist on Instagram that's really heavily influenced by Moebius and does a lot of stuff like this. Wow, it's really, really weird. I do get a tiny bit of a Robert Crumb vibe on this piece. Just a little bit. It's interesting. And the rabbits coming out of the holes is very, very weird. Wow, that's weird. So there's skulls and then heads up here. This face actually has pupils. And these figures. This is almost a little Giger-ish. Giger would do stuff like this. It's got a little bit of the Egyptian vibe to it. And these look like turkeys. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what we got next. Oh man, that's funny. So this is still all 1999. This is image 28. Man. Okay. Can skip past this one pretty fast. Let's see what we got here. And this is kind of like the brain from the color stuff that we looked at right in the very, very beginning. It's interesting. Has a little bit of a Dia de los Muertos vibe too, which is very, very cool. Man, it's interesting. The panel borders too, they're just all wobbly. Nothing is ruled out. It's very interesting. I'm going to look at the chat really fast. Arzak's ride, is it? That's funny. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, the narration is on point because the thing is that I realized what I'm saying is synced up with the video, but it's just I'm seeing it back on the screen, laggy. So that's what's making it kind of weird. But as long as I just narrate and focus on that, it won't affect the actual thing. This is a beautiful piece. I like this character that showed up. She looks more, well, he or she looks a little more contemporary to me. Yeah, this is such weird stuff. This has got a little bit of like a reptilian vibe, and then there's like some teeth kind of here. We'll do people wanted to get into some drawing streams, so in another few weeks we can start doing maybe like a drawing stream once a week where we hang out for a couple hours and draw. I knew I was going to have to narrate tonight, and so Eric wanted to draw, and I was like, if we both draw, we'll never be able to look at this stuff and go through it. But I wasn't opposed to it. I would definitely like to do a Moebius piece. So, you know, I knew I was going to be running Photoshop and looking through all the images. In fact, we can go full screen mode. I apologize. I didn't go there quick back into it. On Aaron Horkey, I mean, Horkey draws stuff like this. I don't know if Aaron. I mean, I'm sure he would like Moebius's stuff. He may not, but I don't know if I would consider it a direct influence. Horkey just seems like a guy that's into like classic illustration. I mean, like the stuff that you would see with Franklin Booth or those kinds of styles. But I would imagine that he likes Moebius. I don't know him. I've never met him. So yeah, I don't know. They run in a different crew, like all the Mondo artists, they're all poster artists. So I dipped my toe in that world and did a few pieces for Acme, like Dark Ink, which is one of the kind of like a Mondo like company, but I didn't really get to know any of the artists that worked for them. I would like to do more of that stuff, but I think that the market got pretty oversaturated. I don't see that stuff as much as I did a few years ago. Everybody's walls got filled and their file folders got packed with variant colored prints from all the different artists. It's like, how many copies of this Avengers print can I own? This is interesting. It's like the Alamo. It's funny. This definitely feels like Robert Crumb to me. It's really funny. Yeah. That's interesting. Wow. They have a giant lizard. Looks like now they've maybe built like a tribute to our guy. Unless I don't even know anymore. Are these all bodies? These almost look like they're all caskets. Like this is like a dead guy, I think, or he's just laying out. Well, he's got his hands over his junk. I don't know if that's like when they bury you, they do that. This is all trippy. There's there's a little bit of an Egyptian thing going on. Oh, I'll recommend this to people too. If you have Netflix, there's that new Egyptian documentary that they have uploaded there. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's 2 hours. It was awesome. I watched it a few nights ago. I thought it was really interesting. They did a great job. This is nice. Oh, look, he's got a guitar. How funny. Or something that looks a little bit like a guitar. Oh, you think they're gonna feed the dead guy to the big salamander? Maybe. What did Brain say? I'm gonna say something controversial. I mean, it's. I don't think that that's controversial. It's like not every drawing has to like blow people's minds. I would disagree that I think that this work has an intrinsic level of interest just based on the level of drawing ability involved. If I look, I follow almost 2,400 people on Instagram. I can immediately tell you don't have to draw good to impress me, but I can tell people that draw poorly that have good ideas. So it just depends on your own eye for art, also, because I can see the diamonds in the roughs, and I can see people that will struggle harder to probably get to that point. This stuff is good. It's good for a lot of different reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to like it, but it's there's a lot of very positive things going on with the work. So, you know, being a fan of it is subjective, but the design and the there's a lot going on here. This is cool. I like this. Wow. I remember this piece. This is actually really, really interesting. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but there's these photos that have been uploaded by I want to say they hired a photographer, Gibson, like Les Paul's, but they take all the guitars and they put them in like a circle, and it does something like this. It almost creates like a wave effect. It's actually very, very cool. I mean, Brain, you can say whatever you want. It's your opinion. But it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's like your opinion holds as much stock as mine or anyone else. So if you don't like it, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It won't change anything. If I like it or don't like it, it doesn't matter. We can kid ourselves that our opinions mean more than that they do, but they don't. Penis. All right, the skiff is back. What's it doing? I need to see. Mm, 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 mm. 38. There were it was funny is when I took the posters from Wildstorm, Eric had 4 posters that I think covered all of the pieces that were done for this. But I preferred 2 of the posters over the other 2. And there was, I don't know, maybe 20 pieces on each one. But there were pieces in here that I didn't really, I saw them, went like, okay, that's a drawing, and then just kind of moved on. This is kind of cool. This stuff cut up on the ground. Oh man, I like that. The shading on this is nice. Oh yeah, that's funny. I don't know why this piece is so memorable to me. I think like when Eric had all this stuff hanging on the wall, for some reason the white of this area right here and the way that it's rendered, it always stood out a lot to me. It's very weird. I think it's just this diagonal shape with the white. For whatever reason, it was very, very memorable. Okay, I'm gonna check the chat as we go into this next piece. Oh, cubism appeared. I don't know what kind of pen this would have been drawn with, honestly. I mean, it could be something like a tech pen, like a rapidograph. Yeah. Okay. Night, Dan. See you later. Have a good one. Thanks for popping in. I really appreciate it. Yes, this is interesting. We'll do we'll do a few more and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Oh yeah, I remember this piece. I don't know why this piece always reminds me of Carlos. It's funny. I don't know why. I'm trying to remember if I brought the posters in our office. We might have. You know what? I think we did. I think Carlos hung this one that had this piece up on our wall in our office. I would have to check the photos. I have a few photos from our office that we had at Wildstorm with like Carlos and I shared, not the office, like the whole office, just our room. I actually did a video on Aaron Horkey. If you're a fan of Horkey's work, if you search my channel, I definitely have done an Aaron Horkey video. I know some people have asked me about Andy Braz, so at some point I'll do Andy Braz also. If you like pen and ink stuff that's very, very detailed, you might like Alberto Veranda. I've done a video on him. I think two. There's one that's on Patreon, and I think one that's for everyone. But he's really, really good. This is funny. This got real cartoony, and it kind of almost does have a little bit of like a Tim Burton vibe to me on this piece. It's funny. Sorry, I'm trying to keep a track of the chat and this. It's funny because this, like, it's probably just a coincidence, but Cirque du Soleil got very, very big in the early 2000s, and this almost has a tiny bit of a Cirque du Soleil vibe to me. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like that they were Chauncey, that he basically decided he was going to sit down for, what was it, set 40 days or 70 days straight and just draw a piece every day. So it's not bad. I mean, you know, something like this, if you were to explore this with your own art, I think it would be a really, really interesting and probably a fun exercise. You would definitely need to have some chops to do it. Although, you know, you could do it really at any stage. It might be fun to do one when you are learning to draw, and then one when you're more of an intermediate artist, and then one when you become, you know, an advanced professional. You know, be kind of fun to look back on the different results you got and your ideas and what crossed over. Hey, what's up, Kier? How you doing? Nice to see you. I'm just checking the chat really quick. Yeah, yep. So look, if you do like this stuff and you're a fan, why don't you give it a shot? Try to do something like this for yourself. And like I said, it doesn't really matter what stage of your drawing level you're at, because if you have interesting ideas and you're just a beginner, you would be surprised what you can do. I actually follow a friend of mine. His son is an artist. He's really clever. He's got a lot of really, really good ideas, and his drawings are very kind of punk rock sort of styled. But I actually like where he's headed with his work, and you know, he's if he sticks to it, he'll be real good. You know, right now it's his ideas are better than his execution, but you know, you you know, you build on what you naturally can do well. I was kind of This always reminded me of like graffiti art, and I was always trying to figure out like if there's words in it. It probably says Isabella somewhere or weed. I don't know. The rabbits, I don't remember any of this with the rabbits. It's so funny. I just completely never even noticed this like when I've seen it before. Yeah, it's interesting. I remember this. I think this is it's starting to wind down here. The pure acid state. Yeah, I know, right? Supposedly he did kind of mess around with like mescaline and some stuff like that. So although he probably wasn't on it when he drew these, the residual sort of experience probably carried over. Oh yeah, this was the piece that was in color when we in the front of the video. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, maybe he did go in digitally and color a few of the pieces at some point like later down the road. To be honest, as much as I love this in black and white, his colors is so great. I would so not complain if he had ever gone back and colored this whole thing. The fact that you could have both versions would be actually pretty cool. Yeah, this is weird. I remember this. This thing just is like this weird. Travis kind of pulled from this, I think, on Wildcats 50. There's a really creepy sort of organic monster that he drew that looks like that. Oh, rabbits and Dan Frag appeared at the same time. Coincidence? No. Hey, Eric, do you remember when I had Dan on? I was wearing a black flag shirt. That was completely random. I've literally like 60 black t-shirts and I had just done laundry and I just peel them off the top of a huge pile of clothes. And it was funny. The day that Dan came on and we did a live stream, I was wearing a black flag shirt. I mean, that was so bizarre. But such is life, right? It's just, this is all virtual reality anyway. Ask Elon Musk. This is cool. I like this skeleton in the dirt. It's very, very cool. All right, we're winding down. We're getting towards the end of this. I can feel it. This is cool. What's interesting about this too is you could do an exercise like this, like maybe don't do it as many days. Try it like 25 days and see if you can do 25 days in a row where you do a piece each day. But one interesting thing with him is these really don't have any solid black. There's little tiny areas where he occasionally will do it, but overall he used no black. But you could maybe make up another rule book or concept for yourself where you do it differently. Look at this. Man, that is so nice. This is really nice. The illumination on this is great. I know his brain got very quiet. Did he split? It's all right. You have to have thick skin if you're going to be on the internet. A piece a day is you in slow motion, James. You were pretty productive, my friend. You're more prolific than I am, that's for sure. This is cool. I like this. This looks like underwater, you know, if you ever see the ocean floor. It's very, very cool. Oh man, I remember this. This is so weird. Yeah, you know what I like about this is just the creativity behind it. I've talked about before when I was like a teenager, me and my friend, we used to get his mom to drive us to this head shop that was about 20 minutes from where we lived, and we would go down there and we would look at all the black light posters and they had bongs and all this stuff. But one thing that they did have also is a lot of weird art books like underground comics and HR Giger books and Moebius and things like that. And it was always fun to just see the creativity in this, and I think that it's fun. I like art that's very, very serious and is like, you know, someone picks a lane and they're very committed to it. You know, I'm gonna do portraits like Rembrandt, or I'm gonna paint like Phil Hale or Jeremy Geddes or whatever it is. You know, and then you have these people that are like far more experimental, but you know, Jean Giraud, he did a lot of work on Moebius. I mean, there's so many different styles that this guy worked in. These are cool. Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know if he really had a story or a narrative for this. I kind of don't think that there is overall, like far reaching. I think you could piece something together, and probably even for him, he could look at it and kind of come up with sort of ideas of what some of them mean. What do they call it? Like a Rorschach? These are just like, they're more literal Rorschachs. Condoms. Yeah, I know, right? They would make cool album covers. Yeah, it's funny. This little guy, he looks like something out of an Atomo drawing or James Jean. This too, actually. James Jean sometimes has a little bit of like a Moebius feel. It's not like heavy Moebius, but there's like a little bit of it. These clouds sideways are very, very cool. I like this idea a lot. It's actually very cool. This is interesting too. I like the little toy. We're getting there. And now it's a female, right? Like in the beginning, it was a male face. This looks clearly female. This must be Isabel. So Moebius finally has his Isabel. And there's Isabel's eyes. This is like a panel out of Space Girl. I don't know if you guys recognize Travis, one of the later ones in the 60s or 70s. He did a very tight shot of eyes. James is great. He's been a little quiet the last like year and a half. Like James, he's kind of relaxing, but I have a feeling that at some point James Jean is going to turn on the jets and kind of show everyone what he's made of again. He's kind of like he's sort of like he put on the brakes a little bit, just a little. He's still active, but he slowed down a lot. I have a hunch once his kid gets a little older, he's going to step on the gas and smoke everyone again. James is really, really good. I've done a James Jean video for sure, at least one. It was a good one. Yeah, you remember that too, Kitty? My cat said yes. It's accurate. All right, we're getting there. We're almost at the end. This is 67. I think there's 3 more. Everything starts to fizzle out and get less and less detailed. Everything is evaporating. And then the skiff. That's actually really funny. I would have never thought that this thing would appear again. It is like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going. We've got floating rocks now. That's kind of interesting. Then this. You know what? Like, do you guys know Lasagna Cat? It's been kind of like it's gotten sort of a little bit of a rebirth from mentions online. But there's a very, very funny video where a guy goes in and analyzes what are they? Is it Dune? Not Doonesbury. What is? I guess it's Garfield. It's a 3-panel Garfield script or story, but he analyzes it like it's like the greatest piece of art ever. It was very, very funny. All right, I'm going to stop sharing screen. All right, let me see here. My camera drifted. All right. All right. Well, thank you guys all. Obey the cat, Richard. I know, right? So, look, thank you all for tuning in. It was too bad that Eric had to split, but he is a family man, and nighttime, if you have a wife or kids, sometimes you just got to get back to it. He may have had to work too, so I don't really know. But all right, thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you guys all. I'll probably try to do a video on Saturday, like a storyteller spotlight. So if you have suggestions for a storyteller spotlight, let me know, and I will put that up. And all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. I'm going to eat dinner. And I don't know. I'm going to watch something. A friend of mine is trying to get me into some of the Korean shows on Netflix. There was something. Hold on. I'll tell you what it's called. You tell me if this is a good one to watch. And we'll see if this guy's got good taste. So he wants me to watch Memories of the Alhambra. Is that one good? No, the guitars I have in the background, I have 12 guitars in my office right now. What you see over there is it's a Greco Flying V. I have a Fender Stratocaster that was made in Japan. And then kind of hiding in the corner, there's a Les Paul Custom. And then right over here, I have a Strat, another Les Paul, another Les Paul. Dude, there's a lot of guitars in here. I have, I think, 7 Les Pauls and 5 Strats, 2 Flying Vs. I have a King V, which has got a backwards headstock. I have the Buckethead guitar. I have the Buckethead King V. There's a lot going on. But all right, I'll talk to you guys later. I've never owned a Charvel. I want to get an Ibanez. I've been eyeballing like an Ibanez, maybe like an RG something or other. We will see. So All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. Let's see. I'm like, how do I don't know how to end the podcast without Kelsey. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.